Hi everyone, it's Tatenda. I hope that you've all had a lovely Easter and that you've enjoyed some time with your family and playing in the snow and just enjoying yourselves, and that you are now ready for another Sunday school lesson. Could you guys please get a pen and paper and split the page up into 6 boxes because we are doing some drawing today. So, today we're going to be learning about Passover, which is a tradition that was started in the Old Testament when God gave some instructions to Moses, and yeah, that was how the tradition started. Don't want to give you any spoilers for later on in the video. So yeah, put your name. It'd probably help if I wrote in a straight line, but anyways. Okay, the title is Passover, and underline it, and then the date is Sunday, the 11th of April, 2021. Okay, so Passover, the first Passover was is written about in Exodus chapter 12. So it says at the start, while the Israelites were still in the land of Egypt, the Lord gave the following instructions to Moses and Aaron. From now on, this month will be the first month of the year for you. Announce to the whole community of Israel that on the 10th day of this month, each family must choose a lamb or a young goat for a sacrifice, one animal for each household. If a family is too small to eat a whole animal, let them share with another family in the neighborhood. Divide the animal according to the size of each family and how much they can eat. The animal you select must be a 1-year-old male, either a sheep or a goat with no defects. So in the first box, we are going to draw. We're going to start by writing. So when they say the 10th month, the 10th day of the first month, the calendar that they use in the Old Testament isn't the same one as the calendar we use now. So just like with Chinese New Year, it's a different day. It's not the 1st of January, like in the same way the first month wasn't necessarily January. So we're just going to write on the 10th day of the first month. We're not going to name it because it's not January. Okay, so now we're going to draw a sheep. We're going to try and draw a sheep. So a sheep is going to be fluffy like a cloud. Give it an eye and a mouth. Its head's a bit smaller than its body, isn't it? Oh well. We're going to give it a tail and some legs. I'm going to change the head a little bit. And there's an ear. Okay. So that's, I'm just going to label that a 1-year-old. Oh gosh. Okay. 1-year-old male sheep or goats for each family. Okay? So, next it says, take special care of this chosen animal until the evening of the 14th day of this first month. Then the whole assembly of the community of Israel must slaughter their lamb or your young goat at twilight. So in the second box, I'm going to write at twilight. On the 14th day of the first month. So the whole community, all of Israel, are all going to gather together, and they're all going to kill all of their young goats and lambs on that day. So I'm going to draw it like loads of people standing in a circle. Okay, I'm going to draw some happy faces. Those two are looking at each other. I don't know why, but anyways. Okay, I'm going to draw some sheep in the middle of this circle. My sheep drawing skills are not great. Okay. I think I'm getting better at sheep drawing as I practice, so maybe you guys will as well. Don't forget to show me your sheeps, to ask your parents to send a picture to the group chat so I can see your sheeps as well. Sheeps? So your sheep, not sheeps. Sheeps isn't a word. Okay. That looks good to me. So this is from Exodus chapter 12, verse 6. So let's just write that in. I'll put it at the bottom. And the first box was Exodus 12, verses 1 to 5. Okay, so this is where we are. On to the third box now. So it then says in verse 7, they are to take some of the blood and smear it on the sides and top of the doorframes of the houses where they eat the animal. So we're going to draw a door in the house. So should I draw a house then? Yeah. I'll draw a house. No, we're just gonna draw a door. If my pen decides to play games with me. Okay, and that's the door frame. And I'm going to draw a circle door handle, which apparently is coloured in. Okay. That's door and door frame. And that's the front door, okay? And so we're going to put the blood from the animals onto the door. So I'm going to use red. Let's just colour it all in. Let's just colour it all in. Don't have to colour it in the whole door frame, as long as there's a bit of blood on the door frame, on the sides and on the top. It doesn't have to be perfect, just needs to be there. But I'm gonna colour it in because I like colouring in. Even though I can't colour in the lines very well sometimes. But I will. Okay, so I'm gonna label that as blood from the sheep or goats. Okay. So on to box 4 now. Oh, that was Exodus chapter 12 verse 7. Let's just write that in before we move on. Okay, so it says in verse 8, that same night they must roast the meat over a fire and eat it along with bitter salad greens and bread made without yeast. Do not eat any of the meat raw or boiled in water. The whole animal, including the head, legs, and internal organs, must be roasted over a fire. Do not leave any of it until the next morning. Burn whatever is not eaten before morning. These are your instructions for eating the meal. Be fully dressed, wear your sandals, and carry your walking stick in your hand. Eat the meal with urgency, for this is the Lord's Passover. Okay, so in this box, we're going to draw like a fire. Yeah, we're going to draw a fire. It's a crazy enough fire. And colour it in some fire colours so that we know it's fire. And some orange, because we have some orange fire sometimes. I'll put in some yellow. I'm sure your fires will be way neater than mine. There we go. And we're going to cook the sheep on the fire. So I don't know if you guys have ever seen like a spit fire before, where they put like they usually use pigs, and you put the pig on like a stick and then you like rotate it and it's being cooked, the whole pig on a fire. We're gonna draw it like that, so it's like, I'm not a fan of this drawing. Okay, I'm gonna draw like a rectangle, but that's like the pole, and then the sheep is going to be on the pole. Okay, so the sheep or goats is cooked on a fire. And then, yes, you would also eat it with bitter salad greens and bread made without yeast. So, bitter salad greens, just, vegetables, and bread made without yeast means things like wraps, certain types of like flatbreads and pita breads, just bread that doesn't rise, essentially. So this is Exodus chapter 12, verse 8. Okay, so on to the 5th box now. So from verse 12 it says, this is the Lord speaking. He says, "On that night I will pass through the land of Egypt and strike down every firstborn son and firstborn male animal in the land of Egypt. I will execute judgment against all the gods of Egypt, for I am the Lord. But the blood on your doorposts will serve as a sign, marking the houses where you are staying. When I see the blood, I will pass you over. This plague of death will not touch you when I strike the land of Egypt." So, at the time of this, when God was saying this to Moses, the Israelites were being held captive in Egypt. They were enslaved in Egypt, and God wanted to set them free. And so on this night, during this plague of death, the Lord was killing every firstborn son and firstborn male animal of the Egyptians. But all of the Israelites, because they had blood on their doors, they were safe because God knew which ones they were, which households to miss over because they were safe. What happened to my... Do you guys see that? It's disappearing. Okay. So we're going to draw a series of houses. Okay, so this is why it's called Passover. This is to remember that the Lord passed over, he skipped the houses where the Israelites lived when the angel of death came to strike down the firstborn sons. So I'm just going to draw, I think, 3 houses in a row. That's as many as can fit anyways. Okay, I'm just going to zoom in to the houses so you can see what I'm drawing. So I'm going to draw a door with a handle. I hate when it does that. Okay, let's try again. Or not. Great. What's going on? Okay, this one looks a bit different from the rest, but anyway, I suppose there are different types of door. So I'll zoom out. Oh, it looks very different, it's annoying me. Okay. So, we're going to do the middle house, we're going to put some blood on it. too many more. Okay, so the blood on the door frames serve as a sign these houses are passed over. Okay? The plague of death will not touch them. I don't think I can fit that, so... Can I fit that? I think I can fit that. You don't have to write all this. Just make sure you write that these houses are passed over. Okay, I've highlighted that bit because that's what's important. These houses are passed over. And then underneath, we're going to write that in these houses, God will pass through the land of Egypt and strike down every firstborn son and firstborn male animal. He will execute judgment against all the gods of Egypt. Okay, so that's only at the first house and the third house. The second house is passed over. So I'm going to highlight strike down every firstborn son and male animal because that's what's important here. Okay. So next God says, This is a day to remember. Each year, from generation to generation, you must celebrate it as a special festival to the Lord. This is a law for all time. Okay, I'm just going to skip to the end of it. We're going to skip to the end of the chapter. Okay, so it says at the end, when you enter the land the Lord has promised to give you, you will continue to observe this ceremony. Then your children will ask, "What does this ceremony mean?" And you will reply, "It is the Passover sacrifice to the Lord, for he passed over the houses of the Israelites in Egypt, and though he struck the Egyptians, he spared our families." When Moses had finished speaking, all the people bowed down to the ground and worshipped. So the people of Israel did just as the Lord commanded through Moses and Aaron. And that night at midnight, the Lord struck down all the firstborn sons in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn son of Pharaoh, who sat on his throne, to the firstborn son of the prisoner in the dungeon. Even the firstborn of their livestock were killed. Pharaoh and all his officials and all the people of Egypt woke up during the night, and loud wailing was heard throughout the land of Egypt. There was not a single house where someone had not died. Okay, so here we're going to write out the conversation, I think, with speech bubbles. So okay, so I'm going to write out all of verse 27, but of course you don't have to write all of this down, but I think it's a really good summary of what Passover is all about. So I need a capital P for Passover. Okay, so this is Exodus 12, verse 26 and 27. And the one with the houses, that was quite a bit further up in the chapter. Exodus 12 verse 12 and 13. Where can I write it? I write it in the corner. Okay. So that is the Passover, the Lord's Passover. That's what this tradition, this festival is all about. So, yeah, next week we're going to learn about a very special Passover that happened in the New Testament, but we will get more on that next week. I hope you guys have a lovely week. Some of you might be going back to school this week, so enjoy school. If not, enjoy the last week of your holidays. Bye!